As Fox News' Harris Faulkner said, this may be keeping Biden's team up at night. Now, I'm talking about the latest poll numbers that are coming out from the New York Times of all places. It set off all sorts of fresh alarm bells for the president as he struggles to catch up with the former President Donald Trump in the key battleground states that will decide November's election. So the poll found that Donald Trump's leading in 5 out of 6 key swing states, with Wisconsin the lone place where Biden is ahead. But what's really concerning for Biden is that the poll found that the president is losing support from young voters and Black and Hispanic voters, all of whom he needs in his coalition to win re-election. Even CNN's Harry Enten, who specializes in polling data, said that the New York Times numbers out of the Sun Belt states of Nevada and Arizona were an absolute disaster. So what's Biden's strategy? Deny, deny, deny. So according to some insider sources, President Joe Biden does not believe his bad poll numbers, and neither do many of his closest advisors. And in public and private, Joe Biden has been telling everyone and anyone who will listen that he's gaining ground and is probably up on Donald Trump in their rematch from 2020. It's all coming back to bite him though. Just recently, Joe Biden, he sparked a wave of backlash over his comments on the rampant inflation affecting millions of Americans, as he oddly stated they have the money to spend. Many accused the president of being clueless with this kind of remark. But what do you guys think? Is Joe Biden truly tone deaf to what the American people are experiencing? It's all about the tale of two presidents in our video today, guys. One who is soaring through the polls and the other one who's just trying his best to deny the truth. Definitely not one to miss, so stay right there, guys. But we're going to go ahead and dive right in. So first, let's catch everyone up on what's keeping up the Biden team at night. The latest New York Times poll showing Donald Trump in the lead in most of the battleground states. Check this out.
I'm sure they're staying up at night over these new poll numbers. They show Trump leading in 5 battleground states, all of which Biden won in 2020. So that would be a flip, including a double-digit lead in Georgia and Nevada. Trump touted those polls just today outside the courthouse.
So thank you very much. Greatly appreciate you being here. The New York Times just came out with a poll. It shows us leading everywhere by a lot. This is the cover story. And I think you'll find it very interesting, but I'm sure you've all read it. Leading in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, Georgia, and Nevada. Nevada, we are leading actually by 12 points, which is generally a Democrat state. I think we're probably leading in New Jersey.
Oh my goodness, he's his own press secretary now.
Well, I guess it goes to show Americans may be sick of being broke and having a geriatric patient as a president. You know what I mean? So yeah, a recent poll from the New York Times isn't looking great for President Biden as he trails former President Donald Trump in several critical battleground states. And remember guys, these states are pretty much key to winning the election this November. So definitely something to mull over. Trump is ahead in 5 out of 6 key swing states, with Wisconsin the lone place where Biden is ahead. Now what's more concerning for Biden is his losing support among young voters and Black and Hispanic voters as well. All crucial supporters if he wants to secure a second term in the Oval Office. Democrats are up in a panic and they're trying their best to point out that it's just one poll with the election still a good 6 months away. Yet, even Biden supporters acknowledge that there's some serious ground to make up here. Jim Kessler from the left-leaning think tank Third Way suggests Joe Biden needs to sharpen his policies on the border, crime, and inflation if he hopes to turn things around. Basically, the president needs to be in a better place on the border, crime, and inflation in order to win, at least according to Kessler. Harry Enten from CNN, who specializes in polling data, pointed out that the numbers from Nevada and Arizona, they're particularly worrying for Biden. He even called the New York Times numbers out on the Sun Belt states of Nevada and Arizona an absolute disaster, though there is a silver lining in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin for the president. Enten thinks that these states could still form a more traditional blue wall for Biden to clinch a victory. But let's be honest, right now, Donald Trump seems to have the edge. Try as they might, Democrats cannot seem to slow down Trump. Despite Donald Trump's legal entanglements, as we call them, and even the strong economic indicators from the White House, he's been polling surprisingly well. Battleground polling has for months shown Donald Trump leading Biden. And take note, Republican strategist Ford O'Connell points out that what's so impressive about this is polls have historically underestimated Donald Trump's support, not overestimated. Now, if we add to that nearly 100,000 people showing up for Donald Trump in Arctic Blue, New Jersey, O'Connell says this is a disaster for Biden. What's more, the polls showed a sharp decline in Biden's support among Black voters compared to his 2020 performance, and he's barely ahead with Hispanic and young voters, who he won over over last time by large margins. The poll conducted by the Times, Siena College, and the Philadelphia Inquirer found Biden leading Donald Trump among black voters 63% to 23%, which would be a significant decrease from the 87% of black voters who voted for Biden back in 2020. The poll also found Donald Trump and Biden were only narrowly separated, with Hispanic voters and voters aged between 18 and 29 years old. Both groups, Biden won by double digits in 2020. There's been a big, huge dip in enthusiasm among black voters who were key to Biden's win in Georgia last time around. Democrats are saying that the poll numbers aren't showing the full picture, but they admit that there's still more that needs to be done to connect with his important voter group. They say that they still need to catch up, but I don't know, guys. Biden's been having a tough time with a lot of voters feeling frustrated about the ongoing war in Gaza, where many Palestinians have died as Israeli forces target Hamas. And then there's also the widespread anxiety over the economy with rising prices for gas, groceries, and other essentials. So Vince Galco, a GOP strategist from Pennsylvania, he put it plainly, saying that it's gas prices, being able to put food on your shelves, being able to go to the store and buy what you want to buy for your family. You can't do that in a lot of places. It's hard. The situation in Gaza is especially tricky for Joe Biden because it could push younger voters and those who lean Democratic to either ditch him or not show up to vote in November. And it's a very difficult balancing act for the White House and Biden's team. They're both trying to urge Israel to better protect civilians and to ensure more aid gets into Gaza, while also stressing the unwavering support for Israel following attacks by Hamas last October. So what does the Biden team do? Well, they deny the polls and they try to brush these off as just momentary snapshots, pointing out that the election is still months away. But see, here's the thing about Trump supporters. Once they're awakened and supporting Donald Trump, nobody leaves. That's why Trump supporters are already calling it, and they're saying that they're already smelling a Trump landslide for 2024. So what do you guys think? Do you see the same thing? A Trump landslide this November? Drop a quick yes or no in the comments down below. Now, we still have a lot to cover in this one, so don't go away, guys. But first, just a quick reminder to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That way, more people can see our content and you can stay updated on the latest news that's coming out of Washington, all right? All right, so let's get back to it. Now, let's talk about Biden's outright denial of the poll results and why he's being called clueless about what's happening for working class Americans. First off, a lot of people close to Biden have confirmed that Biden is just simply trying to deny what the polls are saying. They say that President Biden doesn't believe his bad poll numbers, and neither do many of his closest advisors. Something that could be a problem when you surround yourself with yes men. You know what I mean? And you can see that kind of thinking behind Biden's largely steady-as-she-goes campaign, even as many Democrats outside the White House are agitating for the campaign to change directions, especially given that Joe Biden is polling well behind where he was 4 years ago. But instead, in public and in private, Biden has been telling everyone who will listen that he's gaining ground and is probably up on Donald Trump in their rematch from 2020. A few days later, when he was confronted with some of the bad poll numbers in a rare interview in CNN, Biden even said it. He said that the polling data has been wrong all along. He questioned CNN about how many guys do a poll and how many folks they have to call to get a response. Some Democrats think that the Biden team is in denial about the polling and just sleepwalking their way into defeat. They also say that Biden needs to stop listening to the squad. On the other hand, you got the Biden team that's convinced that the country will not reelect Donald Trump once they face the choice in November. But I don't know, let's see, guys. Ultimately, voters will decide which side is right. But if you ask voters, they're definitely not happy with Biden saying people have money to spend these days. The president sparked a wave of backlash over his comments on the rampant inflation affecting millions of Americans, as he oddly stated that they have the money to spend. Comments online call him clueless. I mean, within the opening 3 months of 2024, the American economy registered an annual growth rate of just 1.6%, significantly below the growth that we saw in the quarter before that. Inflation is still stubbornly above 3%, well exceeding the Federal Reserve's 2% target. But if you ask Biden, he would say that people have the money to spend. And you can imagine the kind of backlash the president got for this. People on X/Twitter question whether the president really knew the hardships faced by everyday Americans. One user commented, "Most people don't have the money because they're honest, unlike pathological lying Joe." Another added how Biden is the most clueless president this country has ever had, and that this is the way history will remember him. One more user said that the man is out of touch with everything. And get this, guys, in the same interview where he said, Biden said he's also feeling good about the trajectory trajectory of the campaign. According to him, most people don't really focus and make up their mind until fall. But I don't know, guys. This definitely sounds like someone who could be sleepwalking into a loss this November. What do you think? Let me know your take on Joe Biden's re-election strategy and Donald Trump's rising poll numbers. Remember, every opinion counts as we head toward November. And hey, thanks for tuning in to our deep dive on this 2024 election landscape. Don't forget, your thoughts and engagement make this community thrive. So be sure to hit the like button if you found our analysis interesting, and subscribe for more content that keeps you informed. And remember, guys, staying informed is how we make the best choices for our future. So keep watching, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep showing up to make your voice heard. Anyway, thanks so much for hitting the like button. Thank you for sharing these videos on social media, and I'll see you on the next one.